Denis, first to you. Didn't really ignite, did it? We were waiting for some fireworks. Nothing happened.
It's not igniting because, frankly, neither Rishi Sunak nor Sir Keir are actually natural Commons performers. They read off scripts. Sir Keir spent his life presenting arguments, usually to higher courts, on very important legal issues, but not the spontaneity of the House of Commons. And Rishi Sunak is a complete speak-your-weight machine. He just... even banal things like asking people to go to a reception on suicide, very important issue, of course, and he's reading his script up and down.
Looking at the A4 in front of him, yeah.
So boring.
Let's actually go back to the beginning. I mean, obviously, Sir Keir came in with a straight right to the chin. How many work visas are handed out to foreign nationals last year? But then, you know, maybe he over-gilded the lily, going on about why Suella Braverman has a problem coping with points-based systems and so on. Trying too hard? There
was one good joke, I thought, and then I dropped the Suella thing. It's over. I would move on to Rishi Sunak's mentor, sponsor, the Prime Minister, about one, Boris Johnson. I can't believe he's on the front page of the Daily Telegraph, other papers, for, again, lying. And this is the modern image of the Tory party. But again, I got confused on migration. Clearly, we were told in 2016, if you vote Brexit, immigration's under control, the figures will come down, and we're having the biggest increase in British history of immigration under the current government.
So, James, to that degree, are the fireworks to come tomorrow when we actually get the figures? And that maybe is what Sir Keir Starmer is waiting for, because clearly suggestions it may be 700,000 or more, and this was one of the Tory pledges.
No, I agree with that. I think just going back to Keir Starmer and bringing migration up as an issue, one of the problems in the chamber when he speaks about this is that his heart is not in it. So there is key questions to be asked in respect to migration. And I don't want to use a trite phrase, but you know, Labour have a general instinctive policy in terms of welcoming immigration, and that is that is a fine position to uphold and to argue for. But when you are arguing essentially that the government are not delivering something which you are not then putting in a policy, say we'll do this to bring this down here, I think it somewhat loses track in respect of that. I think that I wouldn't say fireworks. I would say there are very big questions to be posed to the government in respect to the immigration figures that are coming in, and the vast majority of them, but just making one very quick point about the vast majority of people coming in, one is related to students, which is something that's happening in the Commons now.
Yeah, there'll be an urgent question, which we're keeping an eye on.
But also, lots and lots of people are coming in, quite rightly, from the Ukraine, from Hong Kong, and in other safe and legal routes, which all parliamentarians have agreed that that's an appropriate...
With a points-based system in terms of...
And so there are reasons why it's happening.
Just a thought, there was a certain Suella Braverman sat right next to the Prime Minister, bit of a signal on that. Is she actually being saved because, obviously, the Prime Minister needs a bit of cover for the situation tomorrow with these figures?
I don't think so. I think Suella is still in place because I think it was a storm in a teacup. I think, you know, you can accuse Suella of many things, but the sort of concocted issues of the last 24 to 48 hours, I think were nonsense and should not put her off from her mission of delivering what she says she's going to deliver.
And we did have, you know, one or two barbs there from Sir Keir on her, but he didn't use it as a main line of attack, did he?
No, I mean, rightly so. She blundered, tried to get civil servants to do her wash her linen for her. She ordered her press officer, civil servant, to lie to newspapers.
Well, we don't know that specifically.
Well, the Daily Mirror has him on record saying she did not do anything.
But we don't know if she ordered him to do that or whether it was just a mistake.
Puff. I mean, I'm sorry, I was a minister. The idea that a Home Secretary's...
Yes, minister or no minister.
...goes out and sort of fancy dance around as a freelance. No, he was doing what he was told, and she's wrong. She's a wrong-un. I mean, she just does keep getting little things wrong. I don't know enough about her, but I'm bumping into Tory MPs who say she isn't going to last much longer.
Yeah, I mean, the criticism is that she's perhaps not fully across the detail that her critics within the party say. But is Labour actually probably quite happy to see her still in position? In that, you know,
to a certain extent, I think that's right. I mean, it was a Harvey, and then it was Raab, and then I forget all the others that have had to go.
There has been quite a long list
under Sunak. nice I think James shall be in the cabinet before this government's over.
I think one of the problems with politics is what Denis had just said, and I'm enjoying this discussion. But when you say,
"Oh, this is not right," then.
But when you exactly. But when you say, "I don't know her, but she's a wrong 'un," that's the way that modern politics is going. And if you want to sort of discuss about how these debates go, it's the equivalent to what you've just said. It doesn't matter about the merit.
It doesn't, if you like, James.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's the nature of debate at this moment in time, rather than the actual issue.
Yeah, bigger picture. Let's just reflect that the Prime Minister did have a get out of jail card, and that was the IMF and what they've said about the economy and inflation and so on. So he's got a little bit of leeway there.
Well, I think that's positive news. Obviously, one of the targets is to halve inflation, that we have the 5 targets at this moment in time. But I thought the most effective question, and probably one of the most important, was from the Scottish Nationalist leader regarding food inflation.
Yes.
And
or I think greed inflation, you called it, wasn't it?
He called it that, but he raised a very serious issue, and there are discussions going on at the moment between...
Or greed crisis, yeah.
Between the food manufacturers, the CMA and the Chancellor, and we need those discussions. He made the point, we need that report, stroke those discussions, to come to an end very, very quickly, because it's a really serious issue.
And perhaps this is, the question that Sunak and Labour, or Starmer and Labour will be posing. Do you feel better off after 13 years of Tory rule?
I'm incredibly lucky. I don't know how I did it, but I fixed my mortgage for 2026. So I am safe. So many of my friends are seeing their mortgages go through the roof with young families, and Sunak is doing what the government isn't doing anything. They're watching food bills now. People get their food in, they buy all their food from the supermarket, so they see the bill in a big blob, 180, 120 pounds. And again, the rest of Europe, most governments are intervening to protect people from food profiteering. It's not the manufacturers, it's the supermarkets who are screwing us rotten.
Yeah, and there was a question about the CMA, the Competitions and Markets Authority.
Well, that's
when
what
we're going to hear from them.
Yeah, and that's what we've got to hear from them as soon as possible, and I want the government to take action in respect of that. This is the problem with these debates. The Prime Minister outlined about how much we're paying towards, half of people's bills. It's not a case, and I know Denis doesn't mean this, but it's not a case that the government is not doing and putting billions of pounds into supporting people. You can argue about where that should go and what it shouldn't happen. But the one thing about this government, you can't accuse it of not spending money. It spends a lot of money.
6.5 billion borrowed, the last figure.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of that is going on supporting people in the most disadvantaged circumstances. And it ill behoves the debate to mislead people to say that that's not happening.